people are still buying this nonsense. Justin Trudeau's response to Trump's tariffs have been analyzed endlessly, but there's something bigger that's being overlooked here. While the media focuses on the usual talking points, Trudeau seems to be using this moment as an attempt to rewrite history and reshape his legacy. So today we're breaking down the key reactions and what the next moves might be. As always, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this.
The Prime Minister of Canada saying the U.S. has declared a trade war against Canada. Have you ever seen this U.S.-Canadian relationship as bad as it is right now?
Absolutely not, Wolf. And I echo, your thoughts. In my entire lifetime, Wolf, in terms of what you speak and that very close friendship between Americans and Canadians, I have never seen anti-Americanism reach this height in my entire lifetime. And I do note that he basically said, Donald, addressing him directly, you are a smart man, but echoing the words of the Wall Street Journal, this is a dumb thing to do. He also made it clear, though, to Canadians, Wolf, that look, he's not going to sugarcoat it, and this will be tough. This is a decoupling, not just from Canada, but certainly many, many Western allies. And Europe right now, who've also been put on notice about tariffs in April, are taking note.
You almost feel like CNN always celebrates foreign leaders over their own president, but here's the truth. Over the past few years, there have been anti-American sentiments from Canada, not explicitly, of course, but through actions and a little bit speech. Take illegal border crossings, for example. Did you know that the illegal border crossings have been exponentially higher between the two countries? And then there's the fentanyl crisis. The media keeps talking about 43 pounds of fentanyl being found here and there, but let's put that into perspective. According to the DEA, just 2 milligrams is enough for a lethal dose. That means 43 pounds could cause millions to lose their lives. I don't know about you, but that doesn't exactly scream friendly neighbor to me. Folks over at Fox and Friends were much calmer, and they noticed the hypocrisy in Justin's speech, so here we go.
Well, look, I think with regard to Justin Trudeau, because at the end of this month starts the replacement process for him, and I think for him it's has nothing to lose type of scenario. Although the Canadian people have something to lose, I don't think he's acting on their behalf with this sort of thing. Like, you're taunting somebody. You're saying, Donald, you're showing all Americans disrespect for our top leader, our commander-in-chief. I don't even know where we're going right now. But if that's the basis of their friendship, why does he even think that we would want to rethink the tariffs? It's kind of a weird political dance. What does he want? Does he want to renegotiate? And if his border wasn't as much a mess as it has proven to be with fentanyl, then why did what did he say? He's had to put money into Canada's security to knit them together with local law enforcement on the ground because they couldn't secure the border. I'm like, okay, well then there you go, it worked.
Exactly. At first, Trudeau played the victim, insisting that nothing was wrong at the border. It was all in our heads, just overblown concerns out of nowhere, announcing a $1.3 billion plan to fix the issue, which led to the U.S. delaying the implementation of the tariffs the first time. So, which one is it? Either there was never a problem, or there was a problem and he was ignoring it until it became impossible to deny. This is the classic political move, gaslighting the public for as long as possible, then quietly admit the issue when the pressure becomes too much. But Justin was trying to use this opportunity to rewrite history, as he said this about President Donald Trump.
What he wants is to see a total collapse of the Canadian economy, because that'll make it easier to annex us, is the second half of his thought. Now, first of all, that's never going to happen. We will never be the 51st state. But yeah, he can do damage to the Canadian economy, and he's started this morning. But he is rapidly going to find out, as American families are going to find out, that that's going to hurt people on both sides of the border.
That sounds like someone laying the groundwork to blame the United States for the mess he created in the Canadian economy long before Trump ever stepped into office. Drop a like if you think Trudeau should become the CEO of assuming stuff, because let's be real, nobody's annexing Canada as the 51st state. It's a joke, but he's treating it like a real threat to create a rally around the flag effect. It's the oldest trick in the book. Manufacture a crisis, act like you're the only one who can stop it, and hope people forget how badly you've handled everything else. Even though he's stepping down from leadership, this is the perfect opportunity for him to make people focus on anything other than his fallen legacy and improve the position of his party for the upcoming elections. But Kayleigh McEnany wasn't going to let this slide and expose Justin's mental gymnastics.
Problem with the Trudeau logic there is tariffs have been an arsenal in Trump's toolkit for years, long before the 51st state jargon came about. He's threatened tariffs against Mexico, against the EU, and against Russia. I don't think he's threatening or trying to use tariffs to take over Russia, the EU, and Mexico.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody that watched that, as we all watched it live happen together, saw somebody who is approaching this discussion respectfully. I think we saw this with Zelensky in the Oval Office, and you watch that and you don't think that this is a guy who's coming in, you know, in a strong way to debate and negotiate with President Trump. That being said, he's talking about the tariffs, he's talking about prices going up and economic pain. I had a conversation with our good friend Larry Kudlow last night on his show about the speed by which President Trump is addressing these tariffs. And I do think we have to listen to businesses in this country right now, like 100%. The CEO of Target just this morning said, look, you know, we're going to try to protect the consumer as much as we can, but prices will go up.
Well, after the second round of tariffs went into effect, U.S. automakers appealed to the president for a reprieve, and the White House announced a 1-month exemption from the tariffs for autos coming into the United States. It's obvious that if these tariffs stay in place long term, there will be economic hardships on both sides of the border, but the New York Times estimates the risks to the Canadian economy far outweigh those in the U.S. economy, and it might actually send them into a recession. So instead of wasting time on political theatrics in his final days in office, Trudeau should focus on actually finding a solution to this problem. That would do everyone a lot more good than empty gestures and speeches. To wrap things up, we have Caroline Levitt explaining what's the end goal of these trade wars, and she laid it out perfectly and simply.
Last night, President Trump said there will be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. Can you put a dollar figure amount on how much the average American family should expect to pay as this disturbance? And why should Americans be okay with that when so many are already struggling to pay the bills?
Well, first of all, last night, the president told the truth. And he was realistic, and he level set with the American people. And I think, frankly, it's very refreshing. And everybody in this room should be very grateful that we have a president who tells the truth about the reality of the economic situation that we are in. Unlike the previous president who lied to everybody's faces, saying inflation was transitory, saying it was under control, saying that the border was secure, when none of that was true. So the president is being frank and honest. And the American people elected this president to have monumental reform and change, including rebuilding our manufacturing base in this country, standing up to foreign nations who have been ripping off our country for decades. And that requires a little bit of disruption. That requires a lot of effort and work that this president is focused on doing.
That is spot on. One of the slogans that Trump campaigned on was America First, and now he's delivering on what his voters asked for. Will he succeed? Well, there are too many variables to give a definite answer, but for the sake of the country, let's hope it works. But I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get a conversation rolling in the comments down below. And if you want your friends and family to get their coverage from an independent source like us, please share the video with them. It means the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.